computer.
Let's see, got it.
Perfect. Okay, so we're coming together today because a lot of people hear about the accountability program that I have, but it's better when they hear it from a person that has experienced the transformation. I believe you did 45 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's 60 days, and I'm actually thinking about extending it longer now. And what that consists of is a workout, 10 pages from a nonfiction book. Both of those include accountability photos. Did we do the accountability photos for the food?
We did.
We did. So what you're eating throughout the day. Also, we meet every single morning. We talk gratitude, self-image, task of the day, what we gained from what we read, and a positive experience from the day before. And so now I'm going to ask you 8 questions just to help people kind of know what to expect if they want to do the transformation. So my first question, I'm super excited to do this with you, is where did you find me?
I found you on Instagram.
Yeah, so what'd you do? You scroll past, you probably saw one of my reels and was like, let me
I think it was a reel. And then I saw it and I started following you, and I was following you for probably like maybe like 4 to 6 months, and everything you posted, I was like, I kind of like her. And it was like resonating with me. So yeah,
Oh, wow, you followed me for a little while before you started the transformation.
I did.
Got it. So question number 2 is what made you want to do the transformation?
So initially it started with like me wanting to be more accountable for my nutrition and my fitness, because I had kind of fell off that wagon. But I liked how you had like the mind spiritual aspect of things kind of integrated with that.
Mhm.
So I thought, because I've done accountability in the past just for nutrition and fitness, but I always then would go back to my old ways, and it's like something was missing. So that's how I wanted to get started, but it ended up kind of like transforming me in a different way.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I'm super big on mind, body, spirit. I think if you're missing one, then the foundation isn't set. So I love that. And then what was the most challenging part of the transformation for you?
Um, I think it was just like being vulnerable, like just meeting with you every day and kind of getting used to like being really open and honest and not like holding back. Because that really, like, the more I got to know myself and opened up, the more I got out of it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. The vulnerability aspect of meeting every day, that's interesting. Hmm, that's pretty cool. And then how do you feel now after you've completed the 45 days?
So it's given me like a blueprint, a structure to go back to and reset. I also feel like my whole adult life, well, my whole life really, I never like got to know myself on like a deep, deep level. And this helped me kind of dig into those pieces of myself that I didn't know and kind of sit with that uncomfortable stuff and push through it and realize things about myself that I didn't before.
I really like that answer. I really love that answer. Um, that's huge. Yeah, that self-discovery. I love that. And then what would you say was the best part of the 45 days?
I think that just kind of discovering myself finally, like I felt like, and it was like we finished the 45 days and then it was my birthday, my 39th birthday at the end of that, like 3 days later. And I just went to the coast by myself and I was like just alone with myself. And I just felt so much like I'd never been able to do that before, just sit with myself and just enjoy myself.
Wow, that's awesome. So what was it like before? What so did you change everything? Did you start working out again, reading, and did you just kind of incorporate everything at once when we started working together? Or what were you doing previously for personal development?
Yeah, so I was doing, it was like kind of intermittent or sporadic. I was doing um a lot of fitness. I was walking and jogging. I was eating pretty healthy. But I was not reading or doing like that aspect of things. It was just kind of off and on, like reading about trauma or reading about things I'd been through, but not like taking the time to dive in and really do that daily.
Got you. Wow, that's interesting. I love that. And then what do you realize now that you didn't realize before?
Hmm. I think it goes back again to just having structure and daily commitments to things really, really helps set the tone and helps kind of ground me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it helps because you have that foundation. So the reason I started the accountability is because every single time I would try to do things by myself, by myself, by myself, I would never commit to the process of letting myself even see what doing this for myself would do. Like, well, what these things would do for me if I stayed consistent with them. So I started this so that people could see that the consistency of this will actually really change your life. So I help them with the
Mhm.
consistency of it. And then you can go on your own and you can do this because now you know exactly what you need to do in order to get yourself back to homeostasis, whatever you want to call it, to yourself,
Right.
So I think that you're just hitting the nail on the head, even with the last three questions, that it just all ties back into each other because now you have that foundation. That's awesome. And then what would you say to someone that is thinking about starting but is nervous? I have people that are always intimidated by this because they think it's so much because many people aren't doing any of what I recommend or am doing with them. So what would you recommend to, yeah, what would you say to someone?
Um, so I wanted to start with you like a few months before I did, and I was also kind of intimidated. But I chose a time where I knew like things had settled down a little bit in my life. So I was like, okay, I know that I can put the mental energy into this because you do have to have a lot of mental energy to start it if you're implementing all this stuff that you're not used to doing. So I would say choose a time when there's a little bit of a lull in life, if there ever is, but you got to have that mental energy, and then the vulnerability aspect of it too. Just kind of go into it openly, and that it's really not intimidating. Like you make it super easy, and then you're also vulnerable with us, so that makes it easier to like have a good exchange.
Yeah,
And you really help us through it like every step of the way. You're not alone. So
I love that. I love that's an amazing answer because everybody that I work with, it always seems like divine timing. And usually the people have followed me for a little bit. And I definitely don't think anybody, I wouldn't say jump into it unintentionally. Definitely set some intention behind it. But regardless of being scared to do it or not being scared when you do it, it's definitely within divine timing. Anybody who does it. So I love that. And then last question. What is one thing that you would leave people with, a word of inspiration?
mm, so for me, it's all been about like that vulnerability, just like digging deeper into myself, letting myself sit with uncomfortable feelings, and kind of digging even deeper into those uncomfortable feelings and figuring out the root of them. And just because at the end of it all, if you do that work, it's super hard work. But if you do it, then it totally transforms you.
So, what would you recommend for people to be able to figure that out? Would it be reading? Would it be sitting with yourself? How did you really start doing that?
Well, through that daily stuff, through the reading
Mm.
and then reflecting on it, the journaling, the gratitude, and then I wrote down my daily gratitude, and then I would journal on the things that hit me in the reading. So every day we talked about what we got out of our reading. So it
Right.
just made me think a lot more.
Yeah, I love that. And whenever I work with my clients, I always talk about how I learned that from somewhere else. It was like a video or a book that when you talk about that experience of what you gained from what you read with another person, it sticks more. So that's perfect. So I appreciate you coming on here and doing this with me, taking the time out of your day to do this call with me. I'm so happy that we got a chance to do it. And I believe it happened within divine timing. So I'm going to go ahead and end this recording.